Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, to this truth and rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the Akim out here that scattered abroad to the four corners of the earth, and that's serving this truth and all truth and sincerity. To you I say Shalom. And this video is going to be about this article right here. It's talking about how other nations basically followed the same thing that Canada did, which with the trucks in Canada were blocking off streets and were protesting because of these mandates that are going on out here, for to hit them up. And that shows you how things are really starting to get real out here, as people like to say. It's like the elder apostle Sahar said at the beginning of this year, this is going to be the year of the turnip, the year that Yahweh Shem Yahushua turns up, and he hasn't disappointed so far. Not that he was going to, but he hasn't disappointed so far. It's only February, and we've been hearing all different types of things going on out here in the world. And I'm just gonna hop straight into it. It says Canada's truck protests mimicked by another nation. It says hundreds of trucks, cars, and camper vans have clogged the streets of New Zealand capital Wellington. New Zealand always has something going on out there. They've been their government out there been so strict on them. I know they tired. But continue to read. It says a convoy of trucks, cars, and camper vans has blocked the streets around New Zealand's Parliament building in the nation's capital of Wellington on Tuesday. Hundreds of people turned out to protest against the government's C91 restrictions, which have included mask mandates and compulsory jabs for certain professions. The area around the Parliament building, also known as the Beehive, has been jammed by the trucks and cars plastered with messages reading, "Give us back our freedom." And Coruscant, so like if I said that wrong, is not consent. Some of the vehicles also had stop the mandate written on them. It says under existing rules, people working in the fields of health, law enforcement, education, and defense have to get jabbed up against the C91. So basically, this is just showing you how, and this happened in other parts of the world too, but this is showing you how people are really getting fed up with this thing. Like, they understand, people are starting to come to their senses. They understanding, like, there's something deeper than just, getting to hit them up. And it's like, well, what happened to our body, our choice, so to say, what happened to our stances on things. But it shows you that it doesn't matter, like, they don't care about nothing that goes on. They don't care about nothing but pushing their agenda, and how they really show you how small you really are in this world. And I'm going to hop straight into the scriptures. I just want to bring this out. But this is an example of this. This is 2nd Esdras 9. I'm going to start at verse 3. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and that's what's going on right now. People are having uproars. People are starting to speak out. People are starting to, be taking action against these mandates that's going on out here. And I'm going to continue to read. Then shall thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So all this is prophecy. Basically, all of this is prophecy coming to the forefront. Everybody can see it now, but everybody don't understand it because everybody don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The Lord still hasn't put the spirit on people to understand really what's going on. You know, some people, and that's just some people's part in this play. You know, everybody has a part in this play, and some people's part are just to be blinded. But yeah, as we're seeing going on, we're seeing uproars going on, and people are, you know, it's going to even get worse than that. Then uproars, you know, people are going to start actually fighting, which is going to start a civil war. And as the civil war starts, that's going to implement what? Martial law, because they're going to allow it to happen for a certain extent, but you know, they still gonna have to have some order. But that's how he does what he do, you know, out of chaos. You know, he needs chaos to happen so he can have a reason to bring in his order, so to say. I'm gonna grab another scripture. It's in Mark 13. And what I'm looking for. Oh no, it's 12. Salakia. There you go. This is Mark 13. And I'm going to start at 7. It says, and when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which we're hearing now, over there in Ukraine, with Russia, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end should not be yet. Constant. Even though, you know, we're seeing all these prophetic things happening as far as the rumors of wars, you know, the famine, which is not just the famine of food, but the famine of the word. We see nations rise against nation, you know, civil unrest. What else? You know, they're heavy moving with the RFID. You know, they're slowly approaching to that, but fastly at the same time. You know, it's still, the end is not yet. No, there's a lot of more things. I mean, we're very close. There's only a few more prophecies, but still, it's a lot of different sequences that has to happen for things to really start to pop off. So in verse 8, it says, for a nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be earthquakes in diverse places, and there should be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, and these are the beginning of sorrows, because with these people doing these protesting and blocking off things, you know, especially with these truckers are the main transportation for resources. So if they're out here protesting, you know, and that means things are not being delivered. That means stores are getting emptier and emptier, and they're not getting their resources that they used to get on a regular basis. They're getting them like every now and then. So that's going to implement famine. And when famine comes, that's when really hell is going to start really breaking loose here. People are going to, you know, when people are hungry, you know, they do anything. You know, they don't, like, all morals and values go out the window when your stomach is touching your back. And just to say something real quick that I seen on social media, you know, people funny. They said the grocery store looked like it needs to go to the grocery store. I just found that kind of funny, but that's how you know it's getting bad out here. Like, you know, stores out here are bare, and then things that are in the store are costly. You know, I seen the video of a lady. She was at the store. She's talking about chicken was like $30, and the chicken didn't even look good. It didn't even look edible, but it was $30 for some chicken. So it's like, you know, it's getting rough out here. It's getting real bad. And I'm glad to see it, because, you know, basically, like it said in the scripture, is when the Lord is going to start visiting this place. And that's how we know we're almost out of here too. You know, we're almost out of here. You know, just the water y'all, but Shemal Shai every day for just his wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You know, because this is our blueprint. You know, this is our guide. You know, this is what's going to help, you know, us in this truth and the knowing in these times to come. And for people who neglected it or don't have it, you know, they have a rude awakening coming. I'm gonna grab another scripture. It's 2nd Esdras 15, and I'm going to start. I'm gonna start at 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And woe means destruction. So that's what's coming to this world, destruction. And people who still wants to dwell in this place, destruction is coming to them as well. Verse 15. for the sword, and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. So all these things start popping off, when there is no food out here, people are going to start, fighting against each other for food, as well as, these mandates keep popping off. It's going to be eventually where, people are not going to listen, to the government at all. And they're going to try to take up arms against, police force and all type of different things are going to happen. Verse 16, and that's in this verse right here, verse 16, where for there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So the kings and princes are, your mayors, your governors, those people sitting in those higher positions. And when that start happening, like I said, all this civil unrest going on, these fighting and war in the streets, they're gonna the government will the top up. They're going to do something about it, which all falls into their plan, and that's when they're going to implement in martial law. And then I'm just going to continue to read. It says, a man should desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's what's going on right now with these protests. Like, they're blocking people off from transporting. And that's also hindering people as well. With these protests going on, people can't, people probably can't get to work. People still probably can't get to the store. People still are not able to, live their regular everyday lives like they want to, even with these protests going on. And this is just a protest now. When martial law hit, it's going to be bad. You can't do nothing. Like, you may not be able to drive down the street, without, probably having, that hit 'em up paperwork. Or even when it gets even more serious, if you ain't got that thing up in you, that RFID, you definitely can't do nothing. And the scriptures talk about how we're going to have to be pilgrims out here amongst the earth. So we are going to be out here really fully depending on the Lord. And I'm going to read 18. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So it's going to be a day where, even like the scripture say, the mighty man is going to cry. So even, men's hearts, like the scriptures talk about men's hearts failing them, like, it's going to be just chaos, just complete chaos out here. I'm going to grab one more scripture. It's right over in the next book. 16. I'm going to start at 18. This says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So this is just the beginning of how what's going to happen. Like, we haven't even reached even to the middle, or even, like, this is the prelude. As I say, this is the prelude. Like in the essay, you got your first paragraph. Like, we not even in the first paragraph. Like, we're really in the prelude. And like, we ain't even entered into the shits yet. But it's fastly coming. It's fastly coming. It says, verse 19, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So even with all this thing going on, people are still going to stay in their wicked ways. That's why the Lord has to do what he has to do. He has to destroy this place. He has to let people burn in the fire so they can basically know death by pain and know who the Lord is. So yeah, people, brothers, you sincere brothers out here, sincere sisters, continue to build yourself up in this thing. And if you're newer and you're just coming in, take heed. Take heed and don't be messing around. Don't be playing, because, things are getting serious out here. Real, real serious. And it's going to come a time, and the Lord is, he's really setting division as well. You know, he's separating his real from the fake. You know, that's something that I'm just going to keep reiterating because he's really doing it. And you don't want to get caught up out here, get exposed out here. You know, make sure that you're doing what you have to do to keep that hedge around you. And continue to keep pushing this thing. And so I'm going to close out with that. Give my all praises with Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.